Greetings and peace to everyone. I have a an ethics course for you. It is the one that I generally teach to freshmen, sophomores at the university level, and I propose that we start right now. With ethics basics, of course, it would be normal to start with the definition. And so, what is a definition of ethics? Well, ethics is the study of morality. Morality refers to the rightness and the wrongness, the good and the bad, regarding human behavior, including words. That is what I will call the external domain of ethics. That is the conduct in which human beings engage, to include, of course, their words, because words are actions. And then in another realm, the internal realm, we have thoughts and feelings. And so actions, words, thoughts, and feelings, the first two are external, the second two are internal. And, anyone who considers human behavior can, without a doubt, discern that some human behavior is preferable to others. Some human conduct is very definitely good, and some of it, sadly, is very definitely bad. And ethics is the study of that. And so I have some notes here that I will consult occasionally. Of course, there are many, many wonderful synonyms for what is right and what is good. Among them, we have positive, justifiable, appropriate, proper, legitimate. These are things that we consider generally admirable or praiseworthy, creditworthy. They're approved of, and they're at least acceptable, pleasing, and constructive, let's say. Take all of the opposites to those. We often apply the opposites of those to behavior that we consider bad or wrong. This would be behavior that is negative, unjustifiable, inappropriate, improper, not legitimizable. It is not desirable. It is blameworthy. We do not assign credit to it. Rather, we disapprove of it. We reproach it, and we have reason to limit it or to punish it. It's unacceptable for whatever reason. It's regrettable, displeasing, and often very damaging. And so, in our mainstream life, we don't always come across good and bad, right and wrong, but we do come across those words that I gave you just now. Okay, you, in every society, to a greater or lesser extent, human beings are held to be accountable. They're held to be responsible for their behavior and for also for what they don't do. And it is an entirely legitimate question to ask someone, why did you do that? Or why did you not do that? And so there are some conditions for us to consider that we are in the ethical realm. And so here I'm going to consider two parties. I'm going to consider the actor or the agent. That is the party that behaves, the party that actually conducts itself in a certain way. And then I'm going to have the recipient or the object, and that is the party who is acted upon by the subject. The subject is the one who greets you or who smiles at you or who gets something done for you, brings you something, helps you, or conversely, maybe lies to you, maybe offends you in some way, maybe fails to do for you what they promised to do or what you expected them to do. And then over here you have the object, so subject, object. That is in some cases, the victim, unfortunately, but that is the person who is smiled at, the person who is receiving a greeting, the person who is being helped or being in some way served. Okay. The actor or the agent needs five conditions. If these five conditions are met, you can say that you have every claim to asking for accountability or an answer to the question of why did you do that? The first one is, I mean, you have to have free will, and human beings are endowed with free will. That, of course, is a huge anthropological or even, yeah, metaphysical question. Do we have free will? But, and we may not have complete free will. And without a doubt, there are influences upon our free will, pressures of all kinds, influences on us of all kinds. But without overthinking it, we have a certain amount, respectable amount of free will, and that's the first condition that you will need. The second one is you need to be conscious. This is why we don't hold sleepwalkers to the same standard as we do those of us who are widely awake. You need to be conscious. You need a certain awareness of reality in order to be in the realm of ethics. You also need a conscience. You know, there are, sadly, there are some among us who seem to not have a conscience that is a barometer or a compass telling them that this is right to do and this is wrong to do. There exist such unfortunate folk, and they are known as psychopaths or sociopaths, and they just really don't get it. They really just don't get it that some things are just not acceptable. Some things you can do them. That is, you have the ability to do them, but you may not do them. You must not do them because they are morally not allowed. That's a conscience. Fourth, you have, these are not in any order of importance whatsoever. They're not ranked at all, but you do need to reason. You need to be able to rationally consider the options that you have in front of you and rationally say, I should probably do this for these reasons. That's why it's called reason. That's really, really important. And human beings are endowed with reason, of course, to a greater or lesser extent. And then, fifth, we need to be sane. There are moments in life when we are gripped by something larger than ourselves, we think, and we have come to believe, and then you lose you lose a certain control over yourself, and you could reasonably be called not sane when this happens. I'm thinking of episodes, psychotic episodes. I'm thinking of someone who may have just taken leave of their senses, as in someone who's suffering from schizophrenia, for example, paranoia, for example. I'm more familiar maybe with obsessive compulsive disorder. It just it just hijacks your prefrontal lobes. That's your reason, of course, and you find yourself doing things that are very, very lamentable. There's no doubt about it. And so those five conditions are required on the part of the actor. You need free will. Of course, all of these are related to one another. A free will is often conjoined with the ability to reason. Being aware is often conjoined with both of those. And a conscience is not an irrational thing. A conscience is quite closely related to consciousness, and sanity, of course, depends on, I mean, easily all of those factors to even exist. So those are the five conditions that have to be met on the part of the person acting. And then on the part of the person acted upon, that is the object of said behavior, you really only need one very, very important condition, and that is the ability to feel. We call that sentience, sentience, sentience. It's the ability to feel anything, and on the most basic level, the ability to feel pleasure and pain, so that when the first party, the actor's actions, produce pleasure on the object, the other person, then we're in the realm of ethics. Freely chosen, fairly reasoned out, coming from a place of consciousness, accompanied by a conscience and sane, and then on the part of the other person, just the sentience. I will come back to another episode.